This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, very good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Sorry, I didn't check the time, so I just got late. All right. So just to start with, so yesterday we have seen. Okay, so the demo, and we have talked about what are the things which we just sorry. So what are the things we just going to cover in this particular session, right? So today we're just going to talk, so start with one by one topic, whatever we have in the syllabus, and as a part of the sessions, we're going to drive some project, and in order to drive that particular project, you need to know, so some services which are going to use in Amazon. Okay, so I hope every one of you have at least touched the Amazon, so like since as you know it, right? So at least one time, so you might have seen the face of Amazon, okay, if I'm not wrong. And so we are going to drive everything on Amazon, and for that, what are the things which are prerequisite for a couple of sessions, like 2 to 3 sessions, we're just going to cover okay, so what is needed for the course. Okay, so let's go and try to talk about one by one in the session. So there is some documentation. You will get the access after this documentation. So it's just been categorized the same way, like um, however we have the syllabus, like syllabus if you go with, so it's just been categorized into parts. The same parts, actually, I'm just trying to put in an order, and so trying to put the documentation. So sometimes you might not need it, but sometimes you might need it. Either of the way, so we are actually trying to put the documentation part wise, so that it will be clear for you to understand. All right. So as today, we're just going to cover these topics. If possible, we'll just proceed further as well. So we're going to start talk about setting up the AWS account, and it's a pretty simple sign up. I don't think so you require me to show, like, how do you do the sign up. So let's go to the YouTube, and so just put, like, AWS sign up. So I'll just go for AWS sign up. So probably you have some URLs here. So you can just take this, and so just go with that. If you are not having an AWS account, so go with so setting up your AWS account. So just watch that video. So it has decent information. I already verified that. It's okay. It has all the information which is needed. Sign up is pretty simple. I don't think so you require just to show how to sign up, right? So all you need is a valid phone number and valid credit card number in order to do the sign up. Just to provide a credit card or debit card, anything is fine. Just sign up. And so I'm expecting around $10 bill for this particular account. Like each and every one of you might get a max of $10 is what I'm expecting. So it might go a little bit beyond, but I didn't had a particular calculation for this particular batch at least. Like usually my DevOps, usually it will not cross more than $10. It's usually completes in $5 to $10. So here we use little out of free services, so kind of scenario. So we get some billing. Okay, but always I'll talk about some best practices. If you follow the best practices, you always get the minimal bill. Okay, no need to worry on that particular part as well. Cool. Okay, so first thing is, every one of you after the session, please go ahead and sign up your AWS account. And don't be in hurry. Okay, so sometimes your AWS accounts will not get active unless until for 24 hours. Okay, so don't get too hurry around the AWS account. You will get it. If you get it, that's okay. If you don't get it also, they'll ask you sometimes to wait for under activation process or something. You get it under verification process or something. You just wait for that, and you will get an account. Okay, and for this particular batch, I'm going to use in Amazon, we're going to have some regions. Amazon offers something in regions. Okay, that means depends upon the business, they offer different regions. Okay, or to support the to support the clients of different geographical areas. So they support multiple data centers, and they have data centers across the globe. Why do I require or why Amazon can't keep everything in one place? Why are actually so keeping every geographical location as possibly is, it's all about the matter of traffic, right? So that means, let's say I'm sitting in India, And if I keep my server inside my USA, okay, so let's say I'm in Amazon itself, if I choose some US region, so then each and every packet, network packet, which goes from my system, okay, has to reach to the US servers. Okay, that means it has to flow all over the wire, okay, over the oceans, over the land, so what are the, or the cable, basically it has to hit US and come back. So what is going to happen is the latency will be there. Okay, so the latency is there, applications are going to be slow. Okay, it's going to be very slow. So that is the reason, so we usually try to choose the Amazon region which is near to our business. Okay, so for this one I'm going to choose Mumbai. Okay, it's not about business, basically I just chosen this particular region because um, nothing, simple reason, I mean nothing, basically I'm just sitting in India, I just chosen this region. Also here I'm going to have a custom AMI for Kubernetes. I created one custom image for Kubernetes where you'll not find out that in other regions. Okay, people who are in outside of India, so probably still you can use Mumbai, not a problem. Okay, so yeah, just try to use Mumbai, and that's where okay, so let's make some information here. So we're going to use region is AP, or let's say Mumbai. And in Amazon they have some code words or something like that. This is AWS South 1, they call it as. Okay, so in a technical terms they call it as Mumbai is a geographical place, but technically they call it as Asia Pacific South First Region. Okay, so we are going to choose that. Every one of you choose this. Okay, after creating your account, so start using Mumbai region. Right, so that's second part. All right, and basically as a part of account setup you just do this. Okay, and I mean you can go with any region, that's okay. I mean choose the Mumbai region and stick to only one region. Do not use the resources of double regions. Why? Because we have seen people using other region, they'll forget it, and again end of the month they will see some billing. But also keep in mind, every day go to the billing dashboard, go to your Amazon account. Once after you log in, okay, you will have the my account here, or my billing dashboard. Just go for my billing dashboard, my billing dashboard. So you should not see sudden surprise bills. You should see only the bills which you are using services. The services which you are using, you should get only those particular billing here. Others you should not get it. Okay, so no surprises. All right, cool. So let's come back here. And the first one which we're going to talk about here is in Amazon. So we need to set up some server because, okay, so we are going to start some practices. Okay, and that particular practices require some servers. Okay, we don't want to use any of our local desktop resources, okay, which is not compatible for completing our course for sure. So that is where we just start using Amazon. And in order to start executing some commands or anything, so usually which always starts with a server. And in Amazon, so they're going to provide some service which is called as EC2. Okay, EC2 is a very fundamental service which provides servers as a service. You ask for a server, you get the server. Okay, you ask for the server, you get the server. So now out of this, and again, all the services you can check it out from the drop down button on the top. You have services button here. So if you just click on this, you'll see all the services of Amazon. Okay, out of that, the very first one you will see is EC2. And if you click on EC2, and you will see this particular dashboard. And ideally, so let me just clean up a little bit. This I don't want. So I was just using for other purposes. So you might see a couple of things here. Security groups. You don't want to do this. Why? Because you'll not find those for a new account. Okay. Now, if I go to the EC2 dashboard, so this is what I should see. I should see so running instances 0 for a fresh account. Snapshot also should be 0, but I have 1. That's okay. Key pair 0. Elastic IP is volume. Security groups 1. This is only 1. Rest of the things are going to be 0. Okay. Cool. I want to launch an instance. I want to create an instance and I want to connect to that instance. Okay, so how do you launch an instance is so here there is a process mentioned. So you have a couple of ways of creating a server. So I'm just following in another way. So because I'm going to provide some custom image, which is having, so the softwares already pre-installed. The softwares are already pre-installed. So that is the reason. So we're just going to use, okay, so my custom image. So you don't have to bother about installing the tools and all the time. All right. So for that reason, so let's go with, so EC2, you need to click on EC2. Okay. Once you're on EC2, so on the left side, you have AMIs, you have to click on AMIs. So everything is just being mentioned here. It's not a big deal. Okay. So a user can just go ahead and see that and proceed. On the left side, you have AMIs. Okay. And after that, what I'm saying is, so usually you'll see owned by me, but search for public-images. Okay. So you search for public images, you'll get a lot of things. And you search for some word called as CentOS -7 Kubernetes. Okay, so I will go and search this. CentOS -7. I'll just try only this much, whether I get so many I'm getting. Okay, so and CentOS and -Kubernetes. Okay, and enter. You get only one image. So that is my image. Okay, which is a customized one. All right. So yeah, and so fine. And I'm just going to click on launch. So then what is the next step I'm doing here is, so you just click on launch. Just click on launch. Okay, and click on launch. So after choosing the server type, so which server type you need to choose is for a free account. So you start with the T2 Micro, but later based on our needs, we'll go with other servers. Okay, but at this point of time, just stick with T2 Micro. There's a free server, and directly you can go for review and launch. In order to do anything at all, just go with simple review and launch. Just click on one click button, or else you can go for one by one also, which is really not needed. Okay, so but yeah, so which is really not needed. But I'm not sure security group name it's gonna create. Let's see. Okay, so or else you just go with yeah, I think the review and launch is what I mentioned. Just go with review and launch, which is okay. So just click on launch, and it asks for so choose a key pair. You can go for proceed without key pair, and you acknowledge, launch it. So this way you're going to get one server here. So the state is pending, and you're going to access that particular server. Very simple, right? So just create the server, and yeah. Okay, and finally, once server comes into the running after choosing a couple of seconds, you will see the server coming to running. Okay, so our server also will come to running. We just need to wait for that. Okay, it automatically get refreshed into running state. Now you can see that it came to running state. So that means the server is actually getting ready and almost got ready. You can start hitting that particular server, and you can connect to that particular server. All right, so you can go ahead and connect to this particular server. Now, how to connect to this server? How to connect to this server? So there are different wide variety of tools you have available. Okay, so one of the major one which you use is PuTTY. Okay, so you can use PuTTY tool, download in your local Windows system. And so probably if you're a 64-bit, so if this works, I think every one of you would be having 64-bit operating system only, right? So just download this particular MSI tool and just click on next. That's it. Nothing more than that. Okay, or probably if you just want to keep add shortcut to desktop also, you just so choose this particular option, and the rest of the things is just next, as simple as that. Okay, I think no need to demonstrate much on that particular area as well. Okay, and the next thing is what you're going to do is you're just going to copy the server IP address here. You're going to copy the server IP address from here, and you open the PuTTY tool. Okay, so paste the particular IP address, whatever you copied there, you just paste it here. And copy also, you will have a clipboard button here. You see this small document icon you will see just beside to that particular IP address. So this icon, if you click also, it will copy automatically. Okay, and you paste this particular one here in the PuTTY utility. And once after you do that, you just click on open. That's it. Just click on open. It will prompt for yes or no. You just give yes, and finally it will ask for the username. Just type CentOS as the username, and you ask for the password, just type DevOps321 as a password, and you will be logged into the server. That's it. Okay. Or if you're a Mac guy, so probably you might be knowing that you have an inbuilt terminal and you can use that one also. So that means I'm a Mac guy, so I have my this one here. So I will go for SSH and SSH CentOS at the rate this one, and password is DevOps321, and I'm into the server. That's it. Does anyone is there from the Mac machines? Is anyone using Mac machine around here? Okay, so hope you are aware of this particular process, right? How to connect SSH?
Yes, yes. Simply is a
Yeah.
PEM file, whatever is there, download and make it is a permission change.
Yeah, we don't need PEM file for this at least. So just the username, password. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else like just want to clear it out? Most of them usually going to be Windows, but still personal laptops will be Windows. Still anyone? Yeah. If you are having any issues from Mac machine, just let me know. But it's an inbuilt terminal. You just run this command, it works. That's it. Nothing more than that. Just SSH and IP address, and then username at the rate IP address, public IP. Fine, you're done. You're able to connect to the server. That's all, right? So, and you can, so you're a Linux guy is okay, and you know the basics of Linux, like what all the things you know, everything you can do it on this server, and this is going to be a CentOS 7 machine. Okay, it's a CentOS 7 operating system. All right. And what next? So you need to understand one concept here, which we are connecting to the server, and this server, I am unable to push it down. Give me 1 second. Yeah. There should be a diagram that's missing. Yeah, now we got it. So this is simple, some stupid diagram might be, but still try to understand. So in our AWS account, any of the services you try to connect usually, so either it is from a public internet or from internal network, okay, you always go through something called as a firewall, which is also called as security group in Amazon. So there is a firewall which is actually blocking the traffic to each and every service in the sense which are actually exposed to the outside world or being used as a service, or being used as a over the network. If you use that particular service over the network, it always just try to be some friend one, or there is always someone just before to the every service, which is called as a firewall. Okay, firewall will always validate your request is a right one or not one, or request is a authorized one or not authorized, I would say. Request is an approved one, okay, or not, basically. So it's just going to check, and it is going to allow if it is only if it is defined to allow. Okay, so if it is defined that it should be allowed, then only it will allow. The firewall is something as a service, is a general firewall, right? So in Amazon we call it as a security group. So security group is something which is going to have all the or it is securing all the services actually out there. Now sometimes you access the services from internally inside the network, which is VPC, which is Amazon internal network. We call it as Amazon VPC, or sometimes you call it from the external traffic from the public, and always anywhere doesn't really matter. You hit this particular firewall, and firewall will allow you to that particular resource. Now to this particular EC2 server also, there is a firewall which is created, which is called a security group. There is one firewall created automatically. Rather than this, I would ask you to create one firewall, just opening all the traffic, because it's a lab, and we don't want to every time going and so running behind the opening the ports. So for that, what I'm going to do is security groups on the left side. Okay, you have security groups on the left side. So just click on create one security group. So this might be not there in the documentation. Still, just create one security group. So which is like, let's say I would say allow all, something like that. Okay, and allow all, and VPC you don't need to change anything. So in bound rule you would say that all TCP and allow from everywhere. So this is how it just opens everything. But also probably I'll open UDP as well, all UDP, and so anywhere. So just open all TCP and UDP from anywhere, so that your servers or whatever you create, you can just use this particular firewall. All right. So we'll just use this whenever is needed. So we created one security group, and from now on, whenever we are creating any resources, we'll just map that particular firewall. Okay. So this is another thing. So probably, so I would say, create a firewall here. Create a security group opening all TCP and UDP. Just do that. Okay. Cool. What next? Okay. So before proceeding, any questions on this so far?
What is will be here?
Yes. You said something. I missed it, Madi.
And UDP. Can you explain? What is that?
Is your voice low, or I think very low? I think the voice is.
I think he's asking for the UDP. UDP.
So you're asking for what is UDP?
Yes.
Yeah. So better go ahead and explore today after the session. So come back with me tomorrow if you have still any question on that. Okay. So all your network traffic will go on either TCP or UDP protocol. Okay. So TCP is something like our website. I mean, yeah, mostly like TCP and UDP. Let's say in a very simple words, TCP is so two-side communication. So that means let's say you talk very general. Forget about so this IT world as well. Let's talk about very general. It's like an acknowledgement. Okay. So you send WhatsApp messaging, right? So WhatsApp messaging is so you send a message and you get an acknowledgement saying that whether it is being delivered with 2 ticks, and also you get something like someone has watched it also or not, right? So that means some acknowledgement is coming. So that is something called as TCP. You send something, and that something, whoever is received is going to send you some communication saying that, hey, I got it, okay, or I didn't got it, okay, kind of information. That's a TCP layer. But whereas there is something called as UDP as well. So UDP is always, you say, you just send it and doesn't really bother about whether it reaches to the destination or not. Like a FM, okay, or so any video streaming, okay. So they always try to broadcast, doesn't really bother it is actually receiving on that on the other end, and they didn't know that, so I mean, who is actually receiving as well. Okay, so that kind of protocol is called as UDP. So that applies same thing on the servers as well, while the network transfers from one place. These are all pretty basics, okay, so you should be aware of. All right, and the next thing, yeah, any other questions before going?
We are good, you can.
Yeah. All right, the next one is, so probably, so we need to probably what you need to do is you just need to create one user in Amazon, because we are going to start some automation, right? So UI, we're not ready to use UI. Okay, nowhere we're going to use UI much. UI is only for reference. Okay, we're going to do the things in an automated manner, because that makes the things faster and saves a lot of time. So that is the reason we would be going with so that's the reason would be going with some automation. So in order to hit automation or hit the Amazon over the command line, you need to create one user in Amazon, and you have to get that user credentials. You have to configure in your local system. what you have to do. Okay, and for doing that, so we'll just go and for doing that, we'll just go and create one user in Amazon. So let's go with configuring a user. And in Amazon, the user services is user management is offered by one of the service called as IAM. Okay, so IAM. So IAM is a service of identity and access management. So for the users of Amazon, you take one account. This account you can create multiple users and use it. Okay, kind of that way. All right. So that's how we just want to create one user, and we want to use those particular user credentials all the time over the command line. All right, so let's go and try to do that. Okay, so now on the left side you have users. Might be in your case you might see it as 0. In your case you might see it as 0. So in over here I have some 3 users. I think the one user is not needed, so there are 2 users I have. Okay, and you can go ahead and create one user and give him the utmost administrative access, and we're going to use that particular access over the command line. Also keep in mind and never and ever share those particular credentials to anywhere, and don't store those particular credentials anywhere somewhere in the internet like Git repositories and all going forward. Do not and ever store those particular credentials. You just use those credentials in your local system. That's it. Okay, and all the tools whichever we're going to talk about will use the same credentials and it will authenticate and it will go. Okay, we don't too much bother about so configuring in each and every tool. Okay, and don't keep it in somewhere in the code. Okay, don't hard code the values. Only in your local system, I mean for your command line configuration you hard code it. That's it. None of the tools which you use like Terraform you will use or Terraform we use majorly, and also we use Kubernetes. Okay, so or we use Docker. None of these utilities we are going to hard code that particular username and password. No, we don't do that. Okay, so yeah, let's go and create a user. It's pretty simple. Just a couple of clicks you get the user, and what's the documentation also you have that. Add user, add the username, give the programmatic access, and attach policies, choose administrator access. That's it, you're done. User will be created. As simple as that. And this is your username and password. Okay, so let's go and try to do that. But before do that, I'll just let me try to bring my Windows environment so that I can show how to configure as well. Or I might have did already. That's okay. So let's see here you have how to create a user. So I will just show you add user, and the username is the username here. So let's put like like K06. Okay, so Kubernetes 06 or something like that. So I'm just my username, my choice. The names are my choice, and I'm just going to go with the programmatic access. Okay, so console access if you give, that means graphically he will get access. Graphically I don't want. Graphically I have my own user. I don't want that. Okay, my email and password I have. I don't want to use that. And this I'm using okay, only for command line access. Programmatic access I'm using. And the next permissions, go with the next and the permissions, and here attach the policies directly. So here you have, and the first one you'll find out is an administrator access. Just click on add tags. In order to do anything, just go on create a user, and it generates one username password kind of thing. So you need to configure this in your local system. But how that to be configured in the local system is what we need to see. Okay, so let me bring my Windows environment to show you. Also, I have if you're a Mac user, so it's already configured here, so you can just go and give AWS. AWS is the command line which we are going to use, and we're going to use it. Okay, and you'll find out the steps for Mac, like install AWS CLI Mac OS. Just put that, you'll get the answers. So pretty simple commands you're going to get. What is happening here? This much. customization. No, this is version 2. You go for version 1 is fine. Let's say if I'm going with macOS, it's going to be a pretty simple command. You just run this bunch of commands. Okay, you would get your AWS CLI. Okay, or else alternatively you have some brew command also, if I'm not wrong. Brew AWS CLI. So you can just run this command. Brew also you can use it. Yeah, you have that brew, right? Here only you have. Brew is a package manager for your macOS. So you have a brew install AWS CLI, it will take care. Okay, you have brew. Yeah, let's see for Windows, guys. I got my Windows environment here. Yeah, for Windows, what you need to do. What you need to do is you just need to open the command prompt. Go with the command prompt. And here for Windows, guys, I have given some URL where you can download the CLI part. So you have to do, I have given a URL here. So just download that MSI file, installer, and just install that. I think it's already installed in my system. So AWS, it's not recognized. Okay, then fine. I would go and download it now. Link address, open the browser, just download the file. As simple as that, just next, next, next. You know, to do anything at all, just go with next, next, next. And you close this terminal, open one more, so that this will get affected. Done. Just click on finish. So open the command prompt. So now I will go for AWS, enter. So AWS enter, it will show you some error. Sorry, some message. That's okay. Error is fine. All you need to do is you need to execute something called as AWS configure. Okay, and you need to provide your credentials there. All right. So let's go and see this. So AWS configure, okay, is a command you have to execute, and they provide one access ID. So this you have to copy, and I have to paste it here. Okay, done. And there is one secret key. So copy this and paste it here. And the region. So which region you are going to use? AP South -1, right? So we are going to use that. And output format is always none. You don't have to specify. That's fine. You're done. Now, if you want to check it out, your access is working fine or not. So it's simply going to something which is some service, AWS S3LS or AWS EC2. You want to see all the instances which you have created. Describe -instances. Okay, you can see that. So you can explore this particular AWS CLI command, but we're just going to use it only for the other tools. We're going to use this access. That's the only reason I'm configuring the AWS CLI, and apart from that, I don't expect anything here. Okay, so this is how you set up your server. Okay, that is how you set up your server, and this is how you set up your command line access. And yeah, from this, with this particular knowledge, we're going to jump on to the topics basically. So starts with so different services which you see here, one by one. So we should can we do that? Any questions before starting? Cool. So let's see how many services we can cover for today. And so let's go with okay, starting with Route 53. So Route 53 is generally as a domain DNS service. Okay, you know that every time you open google.com or something, so what you're going to get here is so every time you open google.com or something, your local system, what it does is just go to the DNS server. So DNS server is configured in your local system. Every time you get an IP address, um, from your Wi-Fi router or something, so the internet provider, whoever you have the internet provider, so that guy actually gives some DNS server information to you. Okay, you're going to use that particular DNS server. So I connected to my Wi-Fi router. So, or if I just go with my let's say, assume, I'm not sure, I don't remember the username and passwords, but still, let me just go with TCP. I got one, I got something, right? And at the same time, there's a DNS tab as well. I got some DNS IPs. So these DNS IPs are being given by my ISP provider. So who provided these IPs is the DNS guy actually provides you this IP, okay, as a part of IP address, whatever the connection they're giving you. And your Wi-Fi router just forwards those particular information to all your devices, right? Every time I'm opening some website, your local system doesn't have that information. You need to go and it needs to go and find out in the database, what is the server address. So because the server address is always an IP address, and whatever you're giving is a name. Name is always for human beings, but the numbers is always for the systems. Systems doesn't have names, by the way. Okay, names is only for your reference. And there is some directory, okay, so which is telling you, okay, so this is the address you are looking for, okay, or this is the name you're asking for, this is the address. Like your phone number, right? So in your mobile you have contact list. So contact list, you dial your friend name, but basically behind the scene there is a number, right? It's actually dialing your number. So that means you see that as a friend, but in the backend it's a number. Google.com you see as a name, but in the backend it's a number. Okay, so where do you find out all that particular contact list or the website list? Okay, is something called as a DNS server, and that particular DNS server information will be provided, okay, by this guy. So why are we talking about this particular DNS services? By end of the day, our project needs to be exposed to the outside world as a proper domain name. Okay, we cannot use names. Names will not work going forward. Okay, sorry, IPs will not work going forward. So that's where we need names, and companies also we do naming. Okay, so that is the reason. So we want a service to start up with. So you need to understand how the names are working. And in Amazon, if you come with, so there is a service called as DNS service, and which the service name which is offered as DNS is a very common one. Amazon actually putting that as a name as Route 53. So virtual machine is a common one. So they're calling here it as instance or EC2. Okay, so EC2 instances, like the terminology difference with respect to the cloud vendor. Okay, but behind the scene, the fundamental concepts will always be there. So what are the services these guys are offering? So behind the scene, you'll always have some very common thing or a very common requirement you'll be having, right? So let's go with the Route 53 service. And going to the Route 53 service, so what you need to do is you need to buy a domain. So if you go with the Route 53, okay, so you can go ahead and buy a or search a domain and buy a domain basically. So register a domain, okay, and saying that, like, let's say Rabu DevOps something, rabudevops.com, something like that. So check for this, and there should be a domain available. Okay, if it is available and it is saying that it is available, and I had to pay $12 for this. That's a too costly service. I mean, for a company it might be less amount, but for us it's actually a too big amount, and I don't want that, by the way. Okay, so I want to go with a very less price, and I want to get this particular domain. Okay, so how do I get it in a very less price is not from the Amazon. I'm going to use some third-party vendor here. So using some third-party vendor, I'm going to purchase one domain. Okay, I will do that right away. No problem. Okay, so I'll do that, and so right away I'm going to purchase one domain, and that domain I'm going to use it here. Okay, so let me go and do that. So, and one of the company, Freenom is there. Freenom, you'll get it for free cost. Freenom is there. Freenom, you'll get a name server or a domain for free of cost. But I'm not quite sure now it is working or not. Okay, so earlier it used to work. So let's say who DevOps and something like a check availability by you. It used to be a free earlier. Now if I click on check now, it is coming, but I'm not sure whether it works or not. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this, but you'll not get .com and all. Okay, so they'll give only certain domains like .tk. You know, so some thing you never seen. Okay, that's also okay. If it is working, that's working for us, right? Let's go and give a try with a proper name. So Cube09 Cube06. Okay, so something like that. I just go with this, and so it is giving me this. Okay, all I need is some email address. I'll just go with gmail.com and sign up for one Gmail because without a new Gmail account, it will not work. Okay, let me do this. So you can use your email. Okay, so I already have a lot of domains created in my email. So that's where I don't want to give my actual email address. I just want to go and give a separate email so that Freenom will not detect it. So you might not see my screen. That's okay. So I just registered a domain, sorry, Gmail address here, and using this Gmail, I'm going to register a domain. So I got the, I got the mail. Cool. So I'll just go here, and there is telling that .tk, .ml, .ga, .cf, whatever the domain you like it, you can go with that. Anything is okay. You're getting free of cost is fine. So check out, and it is asking for some 3 months free. So usually for 12 months it is going to be free. You can go with that. I'm just using 3 months free is fine for me. Continue. And it is asking for so Gmail to sign in, but it's already for a registered user. But I would like to go and give 06@gmail.com. Verify my email address. Okay, and there'll be a verification email ultimately you're going to get. So this is from Google. Yeah, you got free name email verification, and you click on that, and it's asking for some details. Okay, cool. So I'll just go and provide some of these particular details. And I don't have any company, so probably something like this. Okay, these names are actually, these information will be shown on the domain level. So if you just give some junk information, it might not consider that as a good request, and your request might failure. Okay, so I'll just give some information. Okay, Spotify India. Okay, so some phone number. Is it mandatory? Let's give it a try. I agree. Seems to be phone number is not mandatory. So thank you for your order. So you got a free domain. You didn't pay anything. You got a free domain. But what is the problem on getting a free domain? Basically, you get a free domain. You're fine. Okay, but the service as they are providing for free, it's like a it's like a free only. You'll not get premium service basically. So Amazon is taking that much amount because it's a premium service. And here you're coming to the free norm. You're getting a very free one, but your service is going to be very delayed. So to get this particular account activation itself will take a lot of time. Okay, your domain will not be there, so immediately it will be coming. Let's go with the click here to go to the client area, and let's see. So you can sign up with your Gmail now. Go with this. It seems it's not working. No redirection is happening. Okay, I didn't got a password link, by the way, so request a password, and I'll just say Raghu Q06. And they're saying there is an email being sent. Yeah, your login details, reset your password, just some password. Oh, I gave some password, right? Yeah, I forgot actually. The time of registration, it asks for the password. Yeah, I forgot. Too slow. I clicked on client area, automatically it came. And okay, that's fine. Okay, so cool. You got a domain, and you can check out your domain, basically my domains and the services. No, you can see that that is an active. Okay, is it really active? You can ask that information from dnschecker.org. From this guy, you can ask about, you can check your domain. So this is a very nice website, and we use it all the time. So I'm just adding it here, just for the reference in the documentation. So here, what is the domain we created? Q06.tk. Okay, and I want to check a domain. So basically, I'll go for NS for name servers. That means the DNS servers of this particular domain, and search it. So you will see that, so most of the regions it is available now. Okay, so it's really good actually now. Okay, earlier it used to take a lot of time. So yeah, that's fine then. So they improved a lot. So you got the domain registered in all the geographical locations. You just try to check it on so many regions. Okay, and it just find out everywhere the domain is there. Now this is going to be a slow service, and Amazon is actually going to be a little bit faster. And also think about that, every request of the DNS records you are creating is actually in free norm. Now a lot of requests should come out of your Amazon and has to reach to free norm. I mean, this DNS is continuous, right? So a lot of applications will be there. A lot of, you don't use IPs, you use names, right? And you create a domain. If it is not in Amazon control, so then what's going to happen? All the requests will go to the internet and find the, okay, not the free norm, and pull the information. Let it pull. What is the problem? One is latency, no doubt in that, right? So every request is going out of Amazon, reaching some place, getting the information. Okay, so it takes some time. Okay, so latency will be there. And the second problem which you have here is every byte which goes out of Amazon is chargeable. Right? Amazon is going to charge you something which is going outside of Amazon in your billing. So there's a separate component which comes as a data charge. So probably as a free account you might not get it, but still if you're getting, that means you're doing something wrong. Your account, you forgot something, and okay, something wrong. So usually you'll have something like, if I just go with the bills, there is a data transfer bill also. So which the traffic which goes out of my out of my Amazon account, so it just calculates and do some billing as well. Okay, this is going to be a huge billing for companies. Actually, it is 25 to 30% of the total cost goes from here only, data transfer. Okay, we have to be really cautious in designing the applications basically. So I don't want anything unnecessary traffic going outside of Amazon. Okay, so that is the reason. And also if it is nearby, so it reduces the latency as well. If it is inside Amazon, it reduces the latency. Now, I mean, I'm a big company, and I already have a domain, and I want to go to Amazon. Now I cannot go and register a new domain in Amazon because I already have it Amazon, or already have a domain, right? I already have a business, and I already have a domain. And if I go to the Amazon, I still have to go to the Amazon, but I don't want my traffic to come outside as well. So in these particular cases, what you can do is, so these DNS guys and all actually come to a contract very long back, not today, very long back. Okay, what is the contract of them? They're saying is, if you use, any domain can be controlled by anyone. Any domain can be controlled by anyone. You can transfer the ownership. Now I created a domain Freenom for free of cost. I can transfer this domain to Amazon, and Amazon will take control of that. Okay, how do you do that? Okay, let's go and try to do this here. So first you have to come to the hosted zone. So you'll be seeing on the left side, you'll find out hosted zones. You might see empty, but I have some domains there. So create a hosted zone, so which is going to be Cube06, same domain. You are going to create hosted domain as Cube06.tk, and it's a public one, and create the hosted zone. Once after you create that, it is going to give you some name servers. You're going to give this information into Freenom. So you go to the Freenom account, go inside the manage domain. So once after you go to the services and you go to your my domains, you'll find out this particular web page and click on manage domain. And so what you're going to have is, in the management tools, you have something called as name servers. And you are saying that custom name servers. Okay, so now you're going to bring this particular 4 name servers one by one, copy, paste it, copy, paste it, copy, paste it, copy, and paste. They provided only 4. We just provided the 4 and update the name servers. Now what's going to happen is, now Amazon is started taking the control. So let's try to understand what is actually this giving this particular name servers, how it is going to control, or how it is actually getting controlled by Amazon. Let's take a look, small diagram, so to understand that. Now let's say I'm a desktop or laptop, so whatever I have, so I am opening now Cube06.tk. So my my machine doesn't have that information, so I go to the DNS provider. If my machine doesn't have information, I'll go to the DNS provider and DNS server. But this guy also is a very new guy. I mean, this guy also doesn't know, because I created the domain just now. This guy also doesn't have the information, and this guy will have some parent DNS server. He'll have some parent, and this guy also, he might not found it. He goes to here somewhere, and finally reach to one place where all the domain maintainers will be there. So .com one domain, .tk one domain, controllers will be there. So which we call it as a root CA. Okay, main servers, which is collaboratively maintained by so many vendors like so Amazon, GoDaddy, Google. A lot of these guys maintains this particular domain. So root CAs, root domain servers will be there for each and every domain. So .tk is somewhere here. So .tk is somewhere here. Okay, .tk, who actually kept the record here? The Freenom registered a domain. Freenom registered a domain here. Okay, it kept some information about your domain here. Okay, and everyone now, whoever is actually requesting Cube06.tk, it has to come all this place and it has to come here. Now while come here, then what is the information it offers is, what is the information it offers is, I mean, let's say I'm typing like so www cube, don't worry, my writing is pretty bad here, .tk is something, you get it. But actually I'm looking for this particular one. So then what actually information it comes here is, it is asking for the record of www, and all the way it came here, and actually it will not give you that record. What it gives you is, it gives the name server information, what all the DNS servers of this particular domain, who is maintaining that particular records. It provides that information. So that took here. So that provides the same thing here, that provides the same thing here, and that provides the same thing here. First happens is this one. If the domain is not there, it goes to the CA and find out who are the name servers who gives this domain. First of all, it finds that, and then okay, so your request of this particular domain, and it holds some information. Your local desktop will hold that information of that particular domain, and it will go and hit that particular name server, DNS server, and get that. Now what you have done, you get to the Freenom and you updated saying your TK domain saying that, hey, Amazon is actually maintaining my records. Okay, you just updated that particular name servers. Now all the name servers which you got is Amazon one. So the name server you're going to hit is from AWS. That's it. Okay, so that is how it is going to be controlled by Amazon now. Make clear? Any questions on this? Data transfer in network bytes or app data. Everything is a packet. Either you talk about as a network or as an app, everything is a packet. On the network layer, everything is a packet, right? So what are all the packets you goes out of Amazon is chargeable. Yeah. Is this clear? Any questions? All silent. Say yes or no, otherwise it will be difficult, right? So sitting idle. Everyone has to participate. Otherwise, I should assume that you might be sleeping. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay. Like others, at least you can put it on the chat saying that so at least all good, all bad, something, so that we'll get some understanding. Yeah. Couple of okays, cool. So now we have done this particular part, right? Now we have done this particular part. Now if I go and try to go to the DNS checker, and if I ask, hey, who is my DNS provider of my K06-2020-08-11-SESSION-01, and you start seeing Amazon, and that means who are all actually going for TK domain for the first time, they'll come to know these are the DNS guys. These are all the DNS guys. All you can see is AWS. Yeah, it is super fast. Earlier it used to take hours of time for sync up. This free now I think it's good. Okay, so this is how now you are actually Amazon is actually maintaining your records. Amazon is actually maintaining your records. So now we already have one server. We are going to create one record. Like let's say I would say that www dot this record is a record. I'll just go and search for this. Now there is nothing it is telling you, right? Now if I go to the Amazon and I will go ahead and create a record, so saying that I will take an IP address of the server. So there is a public IP address of the machine. One box I created, one Linux box. And I'm just going to take this, and so here I'm going to create a record. So saying that's a simple routing record. Next, and define a simple record. So it's going to be www, and it's going to be IP address. This is the IP address, and it's an A record, and that's it. Define simple record. You're done. Create records. It's done. Now if I just go back to the this DNS checker, and if I click on search, okay, it's still not coming. Okay, it takes time, little time, just few seconds, minutes, okay, because it's all new records. So you can see this one place it came, Russia. Okay, so South Korea also got it. Just wait for a couple of minutes, you get everything synced up automatically. Other places also you start seeing, it takes little time to sync up across other DNSs. Okay, so Amazon does it much faster than any other guys actually here. Okay, so if you just wait for a couple of minutes, you will get this particular record ready. So this is what we're going to do for Route 53 part. And in Route 53, there might be a lot of things around there, but what all the things which we are going to use is two types of records. One is name to IP address. Now, what is the type of record you created now is a record. What is a record? You are giving a name to an IP address. Okay, to an IP address. So that's called as A for address. A for address. Okay, so you're giving an address. And whereas there are some types of other records also is available, so which is called as CNAME record. So that means a name to name. You're going to give some name to name. Okay, that name to name type kind of records is called as CNAME records. Canonical name. So that means something like alias name or something like that. So CNAME is a record where you're going to give name to name. So these two things are very important. Name to IP address is a record. Name to name is CNAME record. These are the two things you end up most of your life end up with these two records only in any of the DNS world. Okay, so yeah. All right, so that record also, how do you create? Is pretty simple. Create a record. So go here and define a simple record and say that so Google let's say Google, and I'm going to say that it's an IP address or another value. Okay, so I'm going to give so I'm going to give www.google.com. Okay, and you go and say this is a CNAME now. Okay, go and say this is a CNAME. Okay, create a record. That's it. Now wherever you go and say that, so Google dot wherever you go and say that Google dot this one, so you're going to get so the answer as Google. Okay, www.google.com. So let's go and check it out on the DNS checker as well. So you can just go and put this, and the response which you're going to get is an IP address of the Google. Again, the response you're getting is IP address of the Google. In IP address of the Google in different locations, it is different thing. Okay, you're putting your name even, and ultimately it's going to do is it's going to resolve into IP address. So NS lookup of this one. Okay, it's going to give an IP address, which is this one, and this IP address is also, this name is also having an IP address, and finally you're seeing the final IP address. Okay, so that's what is happening. So that's a pretty simple thing. I want to talk about the Route 53 because we're going to use Route 53 extensively, in our Kubernetes sessions. So that's the reason I want to talk about this particular service. Might be a bit faster. So because these are these are the basics I want to put into. So at least until we complete this, we'll just go in a little faster manner. But later we comes into the actual topics, we'll go in a decent way. But before proceeding to the next one, so any questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are two things: the A record, another just CNAME.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Can we map multiple address, multiple host name, multiple name in a specific, whether it's possible in a CNAME or in A record?
So CNAME, it is not possible. In A record, I think it is. CNAME also, good question. I never tried. Let's go and check it out. Okay. So let's go with this one. Create this one. Create simple record, and like let's say sample if I give, and I say it's an IP address, and it's let's say www.google.com and www.yahoo.com. Let's say two names, and if I go and say that it's a CNAME and create the record, the validation is a failure. But whereas the numbers you can keep it. Okay, go back, go with the next.
Yes, record in. You can define it.
Numbers is possible. If I go there, like let's say sample, and if I say this one, and this is 1.1.1.1, 2.2.2.2, okay, create the record. Did I mention the record? Is a record, right? Yeah, this is possible. Okay, it is creating. Yeah, the name is not making sense. Yeah. So for a single name, you can put multiple IPs also. Okay, so that is what his question was. Cool. Let's go with the next topic. So which is what I think EFS service we're going to use in our session. So I think that's what EFS I mentioned. And also I just want to show you this service, right? So whatever the server we have installed, let's connect to this. Yeah, if I just go and give yum install nginx-y, just a web server. So how that name, whatever you have created, is working, I will just go and check it out. So it's installed, and sudo systemctl start nginx. We just started the service. So that means if I go and give www.k06.2020-08-11-SESSION-01, so I should be getting the website, but I'm not getting anything. Why? Because if you go back to the firewall, remember, so the firewall is actually blocking. So the current firewall, whatever it has been attached, it's opening only SSH port. You see this. So now what I can do is, we have created one firewall opening all the traffic. So I just need to go to the networking and change security groups. And so we created allow all, right? So you can select multiple security groups. You just choose this and assign a security group. So now I go back to the browser and hit it once again. So I should be seeing the web page. See this? So this www is actually masking by the browser, but that's the actual IP, that actual address. Okay, www. You're getting the default Nginx web page, right? Your DNS records are working fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's working at least. The next one is EFS. Okay, EFS. Let's put like Reddit and say it's an AWS we're talking about. So in our cluster, we do require something called as a common storage. Okay, so we want to deal with some storage, and to deal with that, so we require some service here. Okay, so that is EFS service. Okay, the service which we are going to use is EFS. Okay, so yeah, so in order to or EFS, basically you have two types of storages generally. One is block level storage, and the other one is file level storage. Okay, so block level storage, the problem with the block level storage is you cannot share a single disk to the multiple servers. You cannot actually share a single disk to the multiple servers unless until you have some extra software installed who is actually managing and controlling it. You cannot do that. Okay, or the file system. So generally your desktop file systems are NTFS, okay, or your Linux file systems are ext file systems. These file systems doesn't support sharing the data between two machines actually at the same time. A single disk cannot be attached to the two servers at the same time. And in order to achieve sharing a single storage to multiple devices, so you have multiple file systems available. One famous around there is OCFS, Oracle Cluster File System. So Oracle Cluster File System is one of the famous one around that area. If you want to share a disk between multiple machines, so Oracle, this one is pretty widely used around there. Okay, so OCFS2 on iSCSI is commonly used. So that's where you have so you have some iSCSI and you're actually going to put this to so this sharing that particular disk to the multiple devices or multiple servers. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. Yeah, so but we don't want to do that way. So we want to use a file level storage. What is a file level storage? File level storage is your like a Google Drive, right? You're taking Google Drive, and Google Drive you just upload the files. You never format a disk or something like that. But you put your pen drive, you keep your pen drive. So what you usually do, you right click format. You can do that, right? So for the new pen drive kind of thing, you probably right click format and start using it. Okay, so that's a block storage. Whereas Google Drive or any other alternatives like Dropbox and all, assume those are file level storage. You upload your file. Whatever the file doesn't really matter. Google Drive doesn't really matter, right? So you upload a text file, you upload an image, you upload a video, you can do everything. That's a file level storage. And okay, so we just want to use a common storage across the machines, and I just want to use a shared storage, okay, which is offered by Amazon, a file level storage, and they're calling it as EFS, Elastic File System, and we're going to just use that. And I just want to show you like how it works, and later in Kubernetes we'll use it again. Okay, so that is another service which I'm going to use. So for this one, I'm going to talk about two services. Let me just go with making some small diagram for you to understand. I didn't make it earlier. So it's pretty simple. So I'm going to say, so two EC2 servers. Okay, we're going to take just two servers, not single server. We're going to take two servers, and we're going to keep so those two particular servers attached with one single storage, and we're going to do that. Okay, so let me just take to I think I can just go with this one. So you're going to have two servers, and what you're going to share is you're going to put like EFS, Elastic File System. So you're going to take Amazon service, which is Elastic File System, and using this Elastic File System. So what you're going to do is you're going to commonly you can share this particular storage with these two machines at the same time. Okay, so let's try to put like this. Okay, so just try to understand. So you're actually commonly you're going to see do that in a single time. Actually it goes on happen, and also you need to understand, so these actually happening over the network layer. Okay, over the network layer. So there are multiple layers. You can also put a direct cable from storage to that also. Okay, so we're not doing that. Okay, so here it is the network one. Okay, so you just take this, just take this. Okay, probably it's not needed. Delete this. So over the network, so that's a very important thing I want to make a note. So you need to understand over the network. And other than network, what you have, you can directly put a cable also. You can directly put a cable and do that. Okay, so that's also possible. So that important thing you have to understand. Okay, so this is what we were going to now do. Take one or two servers and just take the file system, and you can parallelly do the operation. So that's what you're going to see now. Okay, so okay, and so we will let me put this diagram just for your reference. So that means we're going to take two EC2 instances, one EFS, all right, and we're going to do this. Okay, so first let me terminate this machine. I don't want this machine anymore. Just terminate this, and I'm going for again the same way, AMI, and I'll go for so searching for that. It's already searched, and I have this, and click on launch, and I want to go with T2 micro only. So configure instance details, and so add storage. Okay, but you can go for two instances at the same time, but I would like to go and launch one instance, and later I would like to take care. And here the security group, it is actually trying to create one more security group. So edit the security group and choose the security group which we already had it, allow all if you want launch. So the security group is one thing you have to modify, and the rest of the things let it be same, launch, and proceed without a key pair. Done. You're creating an instance. Now what is the other thing you want? EFS service. So let's go to the services and search for EFS, and let's go with EFS. And there is already one, I think I already created earlier, so let me delete that, and we'll go with something new. So now create a file system is what you get it. So create a file system, and pretty simple. I'm going to say that it's a demo one or something. You're just going to choose one VPC, let it be there, not an issue. But don't click on create immediately, go with the customization. So you can do some customizations here. So it is saying that enable automatic backups. No, I don't want to do that. And so click on, to change anything, just click on next. And here it is showing you, so you need to choose one security group. So what is the security group? Allow all. Can you see this? So I want to put allow all also. Okay, and I want to put drop and select allow all for all the three availability zones. We are going to use this one. Availability zones is nothing but a data center. In Amazon, region is nothing but a group of data centers, and here we have 3 data centers. So just click on next. What it is telling is select one or more common policy options. Prevent root access by default, no. Enforce read-only access by default. I don't think so. We don't want anything. Let it be. So next, finally you can click on create. That's it. It just takes a minute to get the file system ready, and you can go ahead and do that. I think it's done. All I need to do is I just need to go to the new machine. So you can use the existing machine as well, but still I created a new one. CentOS at the rate this one. You know the password, and sudo su hyphen. Now I'm going to go with install nfs-util. So this is one command you have to give, or else if I don't give this command, what happens? First, let's see. Go to the EFS and click on that particular one, and you can, on the top you have seen some attach button. Click on attach button. So you would like to use some NFS client. So just copy this, just copy that, and go here and push this. It is actually saying EFS. You can say that /mnt or something, which is an existing directory, and enter. You're going to get an error saying that, hey, you're getting a wrong file system. Okay, so this is coming because that the driver is not installed. Yum install nfs-utils-y. So that command you're going to install on the machine to get that particular client. Okay, now I will go and mount this particular one. It should be mounted. Yeah, it is mounted. Now you go with cd/mnt, and do ls. Okay, there is empty files. Now let me open one more server. I just opened one more tab, and let me create one more server. So how do you create one more server? So you have already there, and you can choose this server as a template. You can launch one more server like this, launch more like this. All the options which is selected for the server will come up automatically. Launch more like this, just click on launch, everything coming up automatically. Easy base, right? Let it come to running. This is only for understanding. You practice it or you don't practice it, it's okay. But general understanding is what you need to make it. Now we are actually sharing something, and two systems are actually sharing that. But whereas I can also go for a block storage as well. So EBS on the left side, you will find out the volumes. EBS volumes, you go there. And if I create one volume, so which is something like, let's say it's only 1 GB. Okay, and I'm saying that it's 1 GB, and I just want to create a volume. Okay, now you created 1 GB volume. Okay, this is saying it is available. Now I'm going to right click and attach this particular volume to one server. So with server, there is 2 servers which are running. So I would go with one server and attach this. Okay, and then you attach to one server, but I can attach to one more server. No, there is no attach anymore. So this is what I'm talking about. So if you go with a block level storage, okay, you cannot actually share between multiple machines. You cannot do that. At least cloud will not support you. Okay, so we need some alternative options to share or use common storage between machines to drive some cluster kind of thing. So in that particular cases, we are going to use EFS in certain scenarios, which you understand that in Kubernetes more. But at this point of time, yeah, this much. Instances. So you got a new instance. Let me take the IP address. Let me connect to that. Okay, so what is the command we use? Yum install nfs-utils. So you copy this command, the same command, you put it here as well. Done. And cd/mnt here, cd/mnt do ls. So touch sample.txt file, and on the other server, I went to the about tab, and I'm doing ls here. You can see the sample.txt file here. Okay, you do that here as well. Now I try to open sample.txt file here. Okay, and if I go here, and if I try to open the same file here, so the VI editor is telling that, hey, someone is already using the file. Yeah, that's okay, right? At the same time, none of the file systems allow you to write at the same time to any file. Okay, that's okay. But at least the read access is allowed on multiple machines at the same time, which is really good, which is always a good thing. Okay, that is what we are looking for. Read is always on the multiple machines. Write always goes on a single machine. You take any database also, it happens the same way. Anyone from DB background can, okay, so justify my statements. Like let's say MongoDB replica, I would say that, like let's say, so MongoDB, any database, writes always happens on one machine. You see this? Writes always happens on one machine, and whereas the reads will happen on multiple systems. Okay, so reads will happen on multiple systems. So that's how you do that. Okay, a kind of approach. Right. Yeah. So that's about EFS. So EFS is all about sharing a single file system with multiple systems. We're going to use this. Okay, I just terminated those systems also, and also I'll go and delete the EFS as well. You just understood the concept. That is fine for us. Just delete this. So always try to delete the resources which you have created, and if for sure, if you are sure about that, you're not going to use them. So just try to delete them. Okay, so that you'll not get some billing. Any questions? Before the next one. Yeah.
For Windows machine.
Sorry. One by one.
Windows mounting option in Windows machine.
You're asking the mounting option in Windows.
Yes, EFS mounting.
So EFS mounting in Windows, I'm not quite sure it supports because EFS is a native of Linux support basically. Okay, so unless you have something, okay, I'm not a Windows guy, I'm a wrong guy to answer that, but still EFS mount on Windows.
I don't support.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Windows is not the scope, at least on the Kubernetes layer. Okay, no one uses Windows on Kubernetes.
Okay.
Yes, Vinay, you're saying something?
Yeah, is there any performance impact as a mounting is one file system or one disk in a multiple system while writing a data in a one node?
Yeah, but also you have to keep in mind that you don't do aggressive writings. Okay, if you need aggressive writing, so when you always choose the database, there are a hell lot of databases, right? So you have Oracle, Hadoop, Mongo, Cassandra. Why these many databases are there? Everything has its own use case. You have to understand the use case and you have to design that. Okay, so if you have extensive writing, then EFS is not a good one. Okay, you get definitely the performance issues. Yeah, you have to still choose a single write systems, or direct attached block storage is the right approach. EFS is not the correct one. And as I told, okay, so certain scenarios the EFS is useful, and yeah, that's the reason we're just talking about this service. Yeah, make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the next one which we're going to talk about is something like called as probably we'll talk about one service which is secret manager. EBS we already touched based, so at least we'll go with the regular secret manager and we'll wrap it up today. So tomorrow we'll talk about together the load balancer and WAF and shield attached together, so that makes sense. Yeah, let's talk about secret manager. So your project requires a lot of secrets, some secret information, like you have to store some database username, passwords, and things like that. And where do you store it? Okay, if we are in Amazon world, so then you have a service which is available there, which is a secret service manager. Okay, so that's where in Amazon you go there. So secret manager, you go here and create a secret, and this is not for free, by the way, even for you also. It's not free. So you just create one secret, and it's something, some chargeable, some $0.4 or something. It is chargeable per month. Yeah, we should be okay with that. And you can type of, so you can create a credential for any of the database type of Amazon, or you can go for a generic one. So you can just go with the other type secrets, very normal secrets. And I'm going to say that this secret I would like to give something like so tb underscore password is a secret, and abcd1234 is a value. Okay, so done. And secret name you want to give something, let's say so let's say project secrets or something, project secrets or something. And you can also set some permissions, okay, which is fine. Next, click on next, and disable the automatic rotation. This supports the automatic rotation as well. So that means every 30 days you want to rotate a new password kind of thing, it can do that. Okay, but we don't want that way. Just click on next and click on store. That's it. You have the password, and you can retrieve this particular password, and we'll retrieve this particular passwords in Kubernetes, by the way. Okay, so yeah, we're going to store the passwords here and as a standard one, and you do that. All certain organizations, they go with some third-party services as well, like HashiCorp Vault is Vault is one of the famous here. Okay, so you can go with this one, but this requires a big setup and things like that. So you're already in the cloud, you can simply use the cloud service as well. Okay, so that's it. I think we're almost, yeah, that's all for today. Any questions? Questions, clarifications? Yeah, so you will get the recording as well, of course. I think yesterday if you did not got the recording link, let me ping on the chat right away. And also you will get today, you will get today or tomorrow morning, you will get an email, so dropping the location of this particular documentation as well. This Azure DevOps link, you will get the access to as well. Also tomorrow the link anyhow will change, so we will okay, we'll drop you an emails. Where is this? Yes. Yeah, I kept the recording link on the chat. Anyone? Any other questions? Okay, if all good, so probably we can meet in tomorrow's session then. Okay, and also you will receive an email regarding the Teams account as well. Okay, so you will receive the Teams account as well along with that other emails today or tomorrow. Okay, so but the recording will be uploaded here itself, so you can watch it today at least without any access. From tomorrow, the videos need certain access to be taken or to be given from our side. Okay, today you will get that particular recording in an hour or so. Before less than an hour, you will get the recording in the same playlist on the YouTube. No separate link, it's the same link. Okay, all right, so we can meet in tomorrow's session then. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Good day and good night.
Very good. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, bye.